Welcome to the Real Estate Deep Dive with Paul D. Garrison from JP and Associate Realtors. Today we're going to take a look at what an inverted yield curve is and what that means for the housing market. According to Investopedia, an inverted yield curve describes the unusual drop of yields on long-term debt below yields on short-term debt of the same credit quality. Sometimes referred to as a negative yield curve, the inverted curve has proven in the past to be a relatively reliable lead indicator of a recession. Okay, so that makes more sense. So what the inverted yield curve means is that it can be kind of a hint that a recession may be coming, or that a lot of investors believe that a recession may be coming. And so what does it mean if a recession is coming for the housing market? Well, first off, let's look at a definition of what a recession is. It's a significant decline in economic activity spread across the economy lasting more than a few months, normally visible in real GDP, real income, employment, industrial production, and wholesale retail sales. While not a great thing for the U.S. economy, it does not always equate to a housing crisis. This graphic actually shows that out of the last 6 recessions, home prices have actually appreciated during the recessions. Now, obviously, for 2 of those recessions, there were negative impacts to home prices. The one that probably sticks in everyone's mind is the 2008 housing crisis, where we lost almost 20% in home values. You've heard me discuss the different reasons why we're in a vastly different environment than we were in 2008. I'll touch on a couple of those and kind of how the market's handling the current environment shortly. Now, we're all starting to see the national and local headlines of, the cooling housing market enters the great deceleration. House prices decelerate as the housing market downshifts. We're seeing a lot of this, and we're hearing more and more about deceleration. The key thing I want to stress here is decelerating home prices does not mean depreciating home prices. You've heard me use this example several times before. If you're speeding along doing 90 miles per hour in a 70 mile per hour zone, you see a cop, you slam on your brakes, you slow to 70, and you're still moving along and going forward at a good pace. You're just not going as fast as you are. You've decelerated. You're not going in reverse, but you're just going at a slower speed than you were. That's what home prices are doing in the market currently. And here's a chart to kind of put it into some local perspective. This is a chart that shows the percentage of original list price for the 4 major counties in DFW. And you'll notice what I've circled here in red is that we're actually starting to see that deceleration taking effect. But if you notice there, if you follow the chart across, we're actually all above 100%. So we're still seeing homes selling well above 100% of list. They're just not selling quite as high. Now, this next chart actually shows for the 4 counties the number of showings per listing, and this actually represents buyer demand. And this really highlights where we are seeing the impact of the slowdown or the recession and the rising interest rates, and that's in buyer demand. You'll notice the pretty steep drop off in the number of showings. This is in large part due to the uncertainty in the market. You've got the uncertainty around the war, the downturn in the equities market, etc., the rising interest rates, etc., that are affecting people's purchasing power. All of that is coming into play and making people kind of step back a little bit. So with that last chart, we saw that demand is actually starting to decrease a bit. We're actually starting to see supply increase ever so much. So this chart actually shows the inventory levels are starting to creep up a little bit in supply side, or the inventory here in the 4 counties in DFW, but we are still very, very low. We're still in all 4 counties right at about a month's worth of inventory. Keep in mind that 0 to 6 months is considered a seller's market, that 6 to 7 months is considered a neutral or balanced market, where anything above 7 months of inventory is usually considered a buyer's market. We still got a long ways to go before we are in a buyer's market. So here's a look at the closed sales for the 4 counties in the DFW region. You'll notice that they are still trending upwards and strong. If anything, they're increasing. They're not decreasing or dropping off at all. Here's a quote from Danielle Hale, the chief economist at Realtor.com. The housing market is at a turning point. we're starting to see signs of new direction, but the ball is still in the seller's court in most housing markets. I would say that DFW is still, for the most part, one of those housing markets where the sellers are still pretty much in control. We are starting to see a little bit longer days on market and some drop off in showings, but we are still seeing a pretty strong seller's market here in DFW. Here's a quote from the chief economist at the Mortgage Bankers Association. Mortgage rates are likely to plateau near the current levels. Financial markets have attempted to price in the impact of the Fed's actions over this cycle, and they're likely to also price in the economic slowdown that will result. Once we are past this rate spike and associated volatility, MBA expects that potential home buyers may be more willing to re-enter the market. So what they're saying is that they're expecting that once things kind of calm down from this most recent jump in interest rates, that a lot of buyers are going to take a breath and realize that, okay, the rates have gone up, yes, but they're still not that bad. And there's still that demand or that need to purchase a house. And we're going to see those buyers start to re-enter the market, which kind of leads us to this last quote from the Washington Post. All of this suggests that you can't time the market or the future of interest rates. If you're waiting for rates to fall, you may be waiting a long time. Many of the metrics and numbers in this presentation are based off of the national real estate market. However, local areas can vary. Please give me a call and we can discuss your situation. Have questions about your specific needs or location? Please contact me at 214-683-8188 or paul@pauldgarrison.com. Want more information about the housing market and related issues? Be sure and check out my blog at www.pauldgarrison.com. Thank you for your time. Please take a moment to visit our website at www.pauldgarrison.com.